What I've got to say to you is, if you're living in a car, it's not a failure. You can't blame the economy, you can't blame yourself. That's what's happened. But the only person that's going to help you is you. And I just want to put some hints and hacks and clues down after, grey hair, a long time of studying and being very close to a situation of living in a car, being unemployed, how to do it, hacks, hints and clues. Everybody's got hacks, hints and clues. But what I want to get onto is the things that you do have to think about when living in a car. Now, you can say, I need a car, I need a camper, I need a van, I need this, I need that, tiny homes, all that sort of stuff. Don't go down that path unless you really want to. If you want to, XRP's increased to 2.7% increase. That just popped up on my phone. Sorry about that. You don't need a van. You don't need something that you can build a house inside it. You don't need that. You need an old Commodore. You need any car you've got. Any car you've got, preferably a Toyota, because they're just reliable and parts are available. Like a Corolla or a little Corolla stationary wagon thing, something like that would be great. But you don't have to go and buy one. What the car you've got is the one. You need a car, you need some basic cooking utensils like a pot and a pan. You need a little box like we used to have when we went up the bush hunting. So like a wooden box or a tin box that you can get at Bunnings for next to nothing. Tin boxes are great. Put some food in it. Put your dry food in that, your butter, and well, it depends how hot it is, of course, with butter. But yeah, your dry stuff. Now for the other stuff, you can get an Engel, $800. Fantastic. You can get a cheap second hand. Fantastic. You don't need it. You can get yourself a foam box from the greengrocer second hand, and you put a bag of ice in that, a biggish foam box, and put an ice bag in that, and put your butter and your stuff that's got to stay cold in that. Yes, you've got to buy ice at $5 a bag. That's a bit of a nuisance, but you will be going to town anyway. And your tent, your living. You might be able to sleep in a car. It'd be better if you've got a car to sleep in, especially if you've not done it before. You'll feel more secure and safer. But you can buy a little 4-man tent from anywhere, those tent shops. You can get it from the op shops, under $100. That will protect you from the mosquitoes and the spiders and the snakes. And you need a chair. You've got to go and buy a chair. Buy one of those fold-up chairs from those places. Don't buy the big King Dick one. Just get the basic chair. Aldi's chairs are a lot stronger and last longer than the cheap ones that you see around. Yes, I love Aldi stuff, but Aldi's chairs, I'm a big bloke. I just kill those camp chairs. People laugh at me because how many chairs you break this weekend? I'm fairly big. Aldi's ones don't break. Okay, I'm getting off the track here. What do you need? Very simple. A car, a sleeping bag, a little 4-man tent. You don't have to have a King Dick one, just a cheap generic one. Some pots and pans. Go to the op shop, buy yourself some pots and pans. A frying pan, solid aluminium frying pan is great. If not, just whatever you got. Because once you start using it for a week or 2 weeks, you'll suddenly realise, well, this is not doing the job. I need a different one. And you'll have experience to know what to get. A couple of knives and forks. And as I say, the plastic foam, don't have to buy an esky, the foam box to keep your milk in, and your meat in, and your food, your meat and fish and whatever you got. The other thing you need is a tarp, a blue tarp. I would suggest probably a green tarp, because if you have an option between a blue tarp and a green tarp, get the green one, because it doesn't show up. It doesn't highlight where you're camping, like 500 metres through a scrub. You can see a blue tarp. If you've got a green tarp, you can't see it. Doesn't stand out as much. And a few guy ropes and things. You don't buy them. You just buy some rope from Bunnings and learn how to tie knots and tie it to trees. And like I said, legal. You're probably not allowed to tie it to trees, but if you are allowed to tie it to trees, legal. You just tie it to the trees. Don't harm the trees. Just tie it around. It doesn't do any harm to the trees as long as you take the rope when you go. And you put a fly tarp, they call it a fly tarp, and that's just a flat tarp or an angle tarp between a couple of trees. It keeps the sun off you. You put your little table, I didn't say about a table, but you get a little card table from the op shop. You'll pick them up, one here, one there. And you got to have a chair and a table Put your little cooker on top of that. Cookers, those little ones with gas bottles, you know, with little black things, 27 bucks. I lived up in the bush in a hut for a year using those. They work perfectly. They're not very good in the cold weather. They've got a little problem in the real cold weather, but you work that out. And what you do is just pour a little bit of warm water or water on the gas cylinder, and it'll free up the frozen nozzle. Use them, they work well, cost you 27 bucks, that's all your cooking done. Don't go and buy the big Coleman, pump up this one and that one. Try the little one first, then find if you need the bigger one, you can go and buy that. Because I've got to talk about finances too. Finances. I don't think anybody in Australia is getting less than $1,000 a fortnight roundabout, which sounds an enormous amount of money for an old bloke like me, $1,000 a fortnight. But it's not much by the time you pay your stuff. When you're living in a car, you've got to pay registration, you've got to pay insurance, you're going to have to buy food at a higher price, you're going to have to buy food more often because you haven't got a freezer to keep it cold. Freezers are things you can, get yourself an angle and get yourself some solar panels that you can put out, get them second-hand ones, solar panels, and you'll work out how to use that. But you don't have to buy that now though, you don't have to buy it now. You've got to keep the weight down in your car a bit. I was going to say then you can get a second-hand car battery from the wreckers, tested, second-hand, about 50 bucks for a big four-wheel drive second-hand battery from the wreckers. Always vary in prices depending on which one you buy. And you keep that charged in the back, so if you flatten your car battery, you can jump start it yourself and you're not stuck in the bush somewhere where you've been camping with a flat battery. Little things like that are good. A spare battery is a fantastic thing, and maybe a smaller spare battery so you haven't got the weight if you've only got a small car. If you've got a Land Cruiser, you can carry a big battery. And tie them down, because if you have an accident, you don't want a battery come flying through and whack you in the head. That's the end of the game. Finances. If you're on aged pension, you get about $1,000 a fortnight. If you're unemployed, I'm not sure what you get, but it would be round about the same. If you're smoking, you've got to think about that. Can you afford it? If you're drinking, if you're drinking any more than a box of beer, a box of stubbies a fortnight, maybe you might have to think, I've got a bloody problem. That's a lot of money. And it's coming out of your money. Now, the idea of living in the car, my concept of it, only mine, my concept of it is you are regrouping yourself. You are retreating, regrouping, rebuilding your wealth hoard and reskilling yourself to go back and fight the good battle in society. And you may be out of it for a year or 2 years or whatever, but you've got to reskill yourself in areas that you need to. One is financially, you've got to work on that budget and keep it tight. If you've got cash in your pocket, don't go and spend it. That works to a plan. If you're unfit, if you're overweight, if you're, don't look at it and say, well, everybody else is too. No, if you're unfit, get fit. You've got plenty of time to go for walks and things. Get fit. And your social skills, you can't become a hermit or a hermit-ess. You just can't do that. And you've got to keep socially skilled so that you don't become weird. People walking around me while I'm talking, it's all right. You don't want to become a weird person. Everybody sees those weird people getting around living on the streets and that. You don't have to become one of them. It's easy to. Some people have got real strong personalities and don't care what anybody thinks about themselves. But if you've got to get on and get on well, you're better off to present well, yeah. Okay, we'll go to another subject. Unfortunately, people judge other people by how they present. And if you present as being weird, you'll only end up communicating to some very other weird people. And the normal society where you're mixing with will be very cautious and afraid of you and therefore attack you, in different ways, like bring up the police as a strange person wandering around. Then you got the police knocking on your bloody tent or car or whatever. That's it. You got to be social. You got to fit in. Camping gear, cooking box, dry food box, big foam box for a keep your ice in, or a couple of foam boxes to keep your ice in, some cooking utensils, a little bit of soap. Don't store your soap with your food. Do not store cakes of soap with your food. Do not store washing detergent and stuff in the same box as your food. Soaps and that have a terrible, well, they're very smelly to make you smell nice, but you don't want your food tasting like the soap, and the soap will go straight away into your food and you have to chuck it all out. That's not a good thing. Good for the parrots, but no good for you. Stop. Yeah, so you got your food box, your washing dishes box. Buy a little square dish, a little square bucket, but you could fit the plates in to wash them. They sell them in the $2 shops. Get a sturdy one. They actually make them in Australia, a lot of those. And you get the good one to last you forever. It won't break, it won't crack, it won't, all that sort of stuff. And if you get a cheap one and it does break or crack, well, then you know, and you'll go and buy another one that's not going to break you. Remembering you've got $1,000 a fortnight. You've got to pay your car registration, you've got to pay your car insurance, you've got to pay your rego, and you've got to pay for petrol, because you've got to go into town and out of town. Where to set up your camp? Where to set up your camp? Well, I haven't got a map here in front of me. I know 1,000 places of how to do it and where to go. You can possibly go where other people go. That's more for people who've got vans set up for that type of thing. You could travel around. The good idea is to be out of town where you are not visible to other people. And disregarding the laws of the land and all that sort of stuff, which is so much nowadays. Public land, like parks and forests and bushland, forget the terminology, that's legal, so I'm not a solicitor, but those places where you can go up a track, find a little clearing where nobody really goes, especially a dead-end track where nobody goes. You can tell by the wheel marks and that how many people go up there, and just set up yourself a little camp. Now you probably drop your tarp over your gear, head into town, stuff like that. You've got to be aware, don't leave any too much valuables there, because there's bad people around all the time and they'll take it or destroy it just for fun. But you have your little camp there and you only have stuff that you can afford to lose and restock. Your phone, oh, that's the other thing you got to pay. You got to pay for data for your phone. Yeah, and you can leave that little camp and head into town, do your stuff and come back again at night and set it up and sit back and have a little, always have little fires are always a debatable, not debatable subject, always a controversial subject. Depending on the season, depending on where you are, people smell smoke, they start to panic. If you've got good common sense and experience, you can have a small fire in the evening, not offend anybody, not be a risk to the neighbourhood of burning it down and all that sort of stuff. And there's obvious common sense things like keep your camp tidy, you know, first impressions count. If somebody does drive past, it's all nice and neat and tidy. They go, so that's a nice camp, that's a sensible person. If I see shit laying everywhere, bags of rubbish, you might say, I've got to pack it up when I leave and clean it all up when I leave. No, but people will come past, look at it and say, it doesn't look good. So you've got to make a bit of an effort to be acceptable to the community. And you might say community, but unfortunately you are part of a community. You're just a person who doesn't have a house anymore. And good luck, because it's a fantastic opportunity. How much can you save? You pay your mobile phone, your data, your petrol, don't travel a lot, too much, and your rego and your insurance for your car. You got a fair whack of money left there. You got a fair whack, and you can get rid of that if you want to go start buying stuff. But if you don't want to buy stuff, you can poke it away, build up your war chest. Don't look at how much you need to go and rent a house again, because that comes later. You're at this stage now of just building up funds so that you can re-skill yourself. You can go and do courses. There's all different levels. All you guys are at a different level. Some of you are the labourers, such as I was in my day. Some of you IT guys. Some of you are, well, what would you call it? service skills, like maybe just work at McDonald's or work at the local hospital, delivering the meals to the patients or something. They're all good jobs if you got them. You can still live in a car. If you got jobs like that, you can still live in a car, but you don't want to live in a car too far away from where you work. And you don't want to tell people you're living in a car. Sometimes you got to be a bit flexible with the truth. Am I living in where you living, Fred? Yeah, because people are curious, they want to know, and especially if you work with women, they want to know. You say, I'm living in a car out in the bush. I say, what? You're strange, maybe you shouldn't be working here. You say, oh, I'm staying with a mate up the road at blah, blah, blah at the moment, just until I get somewhere. That's okay, it's acceptable. It's not quite a lie, but the people that ask prying questions do not always deserve to be told the truth. They're not lawyers, they're not the police, they're sticky beaks. Some are sticky beaks, some are just curious. You'll soon sort that out, especially if you're in the workplace. God, it's very humid today, 35, 38, something like that. No wind, cloudy sky, it's still cooking in the car here. Talk about no money. You think I'm sitting here preaching. I'm sitting here in a car, the air conditioner's broken because I hit a wombat and it broke, and I'm not able to afford to fix that. So yeah, I'm on the edge too. Luckily I have a house, I'm renting a house. It costed me $740 a fortnight in a very small rural town. It's an enormous amount of money. It leaves nothing left. No, I'm not going to go down that path. I was going to say I would be probably better off living in a car, but I'm not, because I've got other things I've got to do. I've got other people I've got to think about. You guys that know me channel, know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so regroup, get off a grid. Get off the rent cycle, get off paying your house off cycle, because the houses is a game of cards. It will collapse one day. When, we don't know, but I think it could be getting close. Well, it is getting closer and closer and closer all the time, but it's been coming for a hell of a long time. The big depression will come, cannot keep going. Like the golden aeroplane schemes, you know, it has to come down, has to crash, and people will lose a lot of money, and the rich people will take the opportunities to buy the assets at homes and stuff and businesses that the average Joe Blow has been forced out of. But that's another story. Reskill. Haven't got any skills? Go and see the local government agency who trains you. Centrelink would be a good one to start at, and they'll point you in directions of training. Now remember, they get funded, the training people get funded for training you. So they'll try and train you to become a coffee barista. And you'll go and do that and suddenly find, well, there's no work. They'll train you to all sorts of things that you don't want. And I think you get 2 training courses for free. And if you train yourself for the wrong one, you've used up one of your opportunities. So you've got to train yourself in a direction that there will be employment. Training yourself in a direction where there will be employment. I did AI, you can do this. AI search the other day. How many jobs, in 2 years' time, how many jobs will be lost in Australia due to AI? And the answer came back, it was about 40% of employment will be gone in 2 years due to AI. All the people who fill out forms and put data on sheets will be gone. And just so many more people that sit in offices, that type of work, will be gone. You know, don't need you anymore. All the call centre stuff will be gone because they don't need them anymore. All the Indian call centre people will be gone. So much unemployment coming. So I'd reskill myself into people that actually do things with their hands. Number one, do things with their hands, like concreting. If you're a young, strong male, concreting, landscape gardening, you can go out and get some work, building site stuff, train yourself and get skills. Now, number one, you don't have to go and do a course. The other one is that you can volunteer to do some stuff and learn. If you go on a job site and learn, with your eyes open and your mouth asking some questions, and you take it in and you're not too slow at taking it in, you can learn so much, and you always get a job as working on the site, building site or something, as a labourer, helping out, doing things, and you do that, but you don't say, well, I'm not going to work for nothing for him. No, you're not working for nothing. You're learning and learning and learning all the time if you keep your eyes open and your brain open. The other thing that nowadays is technology. You might, how can I say this? You might be a person who is orientated to digital stuff. You got to be careful because the AI is going to take a lot of that away. But there is an opportunity, a great opportunity for people who have got skills with a keyboard to work overseas. Now that sounds airy-fairy stuff. You're living in a car, now you're going to work overseas. I'll tell you this, it's a lot cheaper to live in Asia, work on the keyboard, for an Australian company or an English company or an American company, anybody, and you get paid in dollars, but your living costs are in Thai bahts or Lao Kip or whatever. Very much you can live a really good lifestyle, so much cheaper than in Australia. You can't afford it in Australia. That's an option, but you've got all sorts of visa problems and stuff with that too, so you've got to work on that. That's a lot of training, upgrade your skills. Now if I'm waffling on, I'm all over the place, yeah. I'm waffling on, but I want, can I ask you to tell me where you disagree with me, where I am wrong? Am I living in a cloud of dreams? You might be sitting in your car, buddy, swatting at bloody March flies and bloody mosquitoes eating you every night, and you're getting depressed because you got no one to talk to. Just watching YouTubes. You'll bring yourself undone doing that. You've got to keep yourself psychologically right. You got health issues. Health, okay, things you got to watch. Your health, you can go to a doctor and get a checkup. Mental health, you've got to be social. You've got to talk to people. You've got to have a network of friends. They may be online, but you've got to have real people sometimes to talk to too. And you'll meet a hell of a lot of idiots, but you meet a hell of a lot of good people too. And you've got to work your way through that. And everybody has a purpose in this life. You'll find all that out. But you got to be social. You got to be mentally healthy. And the old saying, a healthy body equals a healthy mind, is sort of true. It's very hard when you haven't got a healthy body to have a healthy mind. Eating good food, don't eat crap. One of my mates, story I like to tell, one of my mates' sons come to him one day, he said, Dad, I'm really battling. He said, I've got a full-time job, but the wife and the kids, I'm just battling so much. And his dad said, son, he said, boy, have a look at the floor of your ute here. He looked there. See all that takeaway food packets that are sitting around the floor of your ute? He said, that's rich people's food. He said, you're buying that, you will never have any money. He said, you buy this to feed your kids, you buy this because it's quick and it's easy and you deserve to buy it, you believe? Well, mate, when you go to work, make yourself a peanut butter sandwich, make yourself a jam sandwich and a piece of fruit. Buy some cheese instead of buying for your kids at school. Little packets of cheese and bits of salami in a packet. Buy a block of cheese, cut a few bits off, and cut a few bits off a bit of salami and put it in a snap bag and give it to your kids. Don't buy takeaway food. That's rich people's food. It's unhealthy to the extreme. If you don't believe me, look at all the big people who come out of McDonald's all the time if you ever go near it. Have a look at them. There's just, there's a lesson there. Have a look at the size of the people that go in and come out of McDonald's and what they carry in and out. Don't do that. You're throwing your money away for nothing. So get your mental health right, get your food right, reskill yourself. Reskill yourself. Here's another. Reskill yourself. Libraries. Libraries are the person who lives in a car's best friend. Libraries have air conditioners and comfortable chairs and books to read and places you can sit. If you don't read books, places you can sit and look at your little computer or your phone, your iPad, in comfort, and it's free. Some of them even have free coffee and under an air conditioner. There's little things like that. Libraries are your friend, and you can research a lot, and then you can actually meet some people there. Nobody wants to talk to you too much. at the library. People don't really engage much at the library, but there's a possibility. Treat yourself to some special things. Buying a cup of coffee, well, once a day, once a week, once every 3 days. Don't buy the cake, just buy a cup of coffee and sit back and enjoy it and watch the sideshow of life go by while you're drinking your coffee. You'll get weird blokes like me come and say, "How you going, mate? What's happening?" But that's always worthwhile. It's a luxury, but it's you don't have to be a total skinflint, you know. You've got to look after yourself mentally. Presentation. You go out the bush, you're living in the bush, hot, sweaty, hot nights. Yeah, you haven't got an air conditioner. Hot nights are just a bit of a problem, but they cool down in the morning mostly. And you can sleep in, hey, number 2, never park your tent in where the sun comes up in the morning. The sun shines down on you at 6 o'clock in the morning, you won't be able to have a sleep in. Put your tent where the shade is in the morning. Don't put it under a tree, it's got big branches, that's other little things. All that stuff people will tell you. Put it in the shade, unless it's ice weather, and then you put it in the sun. Warm you up in the morning. Presentation. You've got to be presentable, I believe. This is my personal opinion. I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a story. Back in the days when I was living in a normal society, in a normal life, I had a bit of a farm, and I worked full-time in a job, and I had a farm thing, you know, like a hobby farm you call it. I had 100 acres or something, so I was sort of in between a hobby farm and something else. But sometimes I go to the local service station, and I had an old jacket, was green, and it was like the old Korean War jackets, green, sort of nylon-y stuff. And it was the same sort of thing as the bloke wore in Shameless, in the movie Shameless. It looked like I was a homeless person, but I used it because it was cold weather, it was really warm and functional, and I'd just chuck it on and do my jobs on the farm. Sometimes I'd call in at the service station, and there'd be somebody on that didn't know me, and I went in with that thing and a beanie over my head, and a bit dirty from working all day at the end of the day. And I actually used to get asked a couple of times when I went to pay for petrol with my credit card, "Oh, have you got an ID there?" Ask me for my licence, you know, because I'm dressed up like a bloody hobo. So that's one thing. Other times I've gone in there and I've dressed up with my, just the other day actually, I went into the local fishing shop. I'd had a nice shirt on, nice pants, nice shoes, just, you know, and a shave, simple things. And the bloke at the fishing shop's calling me sir. Yes sir, no sir. Which is very unusual. I don't get sir, but I have got that a lot when I dress up. So how you present with your clothing and your personal hygiene and your, you know, appearance is very important. It really is. You know, you'll get people want to help you if you dress nice. If you dress as a hobo, poor person, people might feel sorry for you and give you $2, but that's not what you want. You've got to present well. And you can do that because I haven't got a good watch at the moment. This is a real cheapo one. But if you've got a reasonable watch, which will not cost you a lot of money, you can get a Rolex in Thailand for $50. If you want to go, you don't have to go extreme, just something nice. I carry a fountain pen in my pocket. I wear a nice shirt, it's got pockets. And just those things like the fountain pen, nice hat, and nice pair of dress boots. I tend to wear dress boots because I like them, they're comfortable for me. And I get treated with a lot of respect, even though I am the same person who wouldn't get served and get asked to go away if I was wearing my Shameless jacket and my beanie and an old pair of fingerless gloves, you know. But I'm the same man, but you do get treated completely differently depending on how you dress, how you appear. It may not be that it should be that way. It may be wrong that people judge you on that, but unfortunately it is the truth. The truth. Now, if you're a rich person, if you're, I don't know, some wealthy person, like a movie person, and You can dress as rough as you like, because it doesn't matter how people think of you. If people don't like you or a bit cautious of you because you're scruffy and dirty or appear to be dirty, you know, wearing worn out clothes and things like that, you can afford that because it doesn't matter, you're rich, okay? But if you're not rich, you've got to dress nicely, not over the top. I said before about the Rolex, you probably don't want a Rolex, but just something nice shirt, wash, clean, personal hygiene, you know, have a shower every day. You don't really need a shower every day, but that's a thing you've got to work out. But you've got to be not smelly. You've got to, you've got to have a shave. If you're a woman, keep your hair nice and your hands nice. Even though you're doing work, you still keep your hands nice. You don't need long fingernails and all that sort of stuff. A few fishermen turning up here. I'll go around my mate's place for a cup of coffee in a minute. Oh, I've had 2 cups of coffee already, so maybe I'll just go and say hello to him. But this is a social thing. You've got to go and say hello to people, and you've got to make an effort to meet people and keep contacts up. Currency, digital stuff, keep your money. Dollars are still good, Australian dollars, and when I say they're good in Australia, they're no good if you're comparing it to currency overseas or currency in Asia. Then it's no good at all. It's dropping consistently all the time, the Australian dollar. Don't worry about having to go and get silver and gold and all that. That's just a whole heap of problems. For the time being, just keep cash. Keep cash in your wallet. Don't use the digital stuff. Don't use a credit card any more than you have to. This is only my personal belief. Cash always works. So what do you want me to cover? Ask me an opinion about something. Oh, you ask me about what I think about a friend's situation that you know. What should they do? I don't know, but I'll have an opinion. I'm a bugger for having an opinion. I saw an old cartoon, an old postcard cartoon, old English one from the 20s or something, and there's a little bloke there, and he says, "Oh, my wife doesn't like me to drink because I get opinions." In other words, the poor old married man's not allowed to have opinions. And if he starts to drink, he might start having opinions, so that's not good. His wife won't let him drink. Oh dear. Hey, I'm a man. My brain is man brain. I mainly think man stuff. Ladies have a slightly different brain, and I really admire them. They can do so much that men can't do. But really, I'm just talking man stuff here, so if it's not really relating to you, although most of it does, I think. A lot of ladies will, okay for the ladies, a lot of ladies will have different issues like security. Security and, well, mainly security. Before the last 50 years, we could say, is women needed men to give them security, to stand up for them in society and protect them and provide for them. Now, nowadays I'm not allowed to say that because that's very negative and that, but I think even women, if they're honest, would love a man who can financially provide for them, financially give them physical security, provide a house and all the things they need socially. I think most women still want that deep down. But things will change. Opinions will change. I haven't been drinking, but I've still got opinions. Okay, catch you guys, all you guys that watch me other videos. This doesn't relate to you at all, but I'm just down here having a chat. I've made videos for a long time, and I enjoy making videos. Geez, it's hot here. You can hear the boats going in and out. Okay guys, I'm going to whiz up to a little free camping ground up here, and you tell me if this is not the best camping ground in Australia. Okay, have a good one guys. All from me little Tarago. Bye bye.